And welcome into another edition of Let's Grow Pulling. I'm Ryan Zolik.
I'm Jason Schultz, and the first attempt sucked. We apologize. I think my internet thingy broke, right?
Yes, I think so.
So we think that's what's going on there. So let us know if you can hear us, and let us know if you are. Let us know where you're watching from tonight. Tonight we're going to talk to Kurt Afdahl. He is the president of the WTPA and a light pro stock puller. We're going to talk about their 2019 season. And they're also what they got going on for 2020. And also want to talk about the light pro stock class. Ryan, it's one of my favorite classes to watch. It's a great state level class. I love the 540 cubes. I love the horsepower to weight ratio, basically. You know, they weigh 8,500 pounds, 2,700 horsepower. I think the top ones are making now, and I could be wrong. We can ask. I've heard some, when I was down in Cloverdale, I heard that maybe some of them were getting close to 3,000 horsepower now. There's a lot of chatter about component frames and stuff like that, and I hope they don't do that to them because there's a lot of guys with the egg chassis, but that's not my pick. That's not my bone to pick, if you know what I mean.
No, not at all. So
Clearfield, PA checking in, Brandenburg, Kentucky checking in. So, and then we're going to round out the show with Rick Feicht, right?
Yep.
And is that Full Pole Productions?
Full Pole Productions,
and
USA East.
So what's going on with Canfield and Lustig? And I know Sempico's a big sponsor of Full Pole. I know Sempico's a big sponsor of Lustig, so they're up to something, right?
Yeah, so they're doing
something slimy, something slimy and slippery.
Yeah, yep. That's exactly what Lustig
does.
Yes,
Lustig,
I know you got to watch
that.
out for them.
Yep.
But no, they're doing a Sempico Unlimited Super Stock Challenge at the Canfield Fair in September.
Okay.
I believe Labor Day weekend is that.
I
I think it's Ohio's largest county
it's
fair.
not. Oh no, yeah. So Brandon, our Brandon,
Yep.
Who used to help us a lot with the page. Now he's a dad and has no internet where he lives. So he had always said that is like a gigantic crowd
from the videos I've seen.
Yeah.
So huge crowds. So what they're doing is whether you're alcohol or diesel tractor, very very similar to what they're doing out in Benson, North Carolina for the Glot Motorsports team. I believe it's a $20,000 purse for the class, $5,000 to win. They're doing pre-entry right now, and so we're going to talk to Rick about that.
Yep.
And so thanks to Jordan and Misty, they helped me set up that with Rick.
Good.
So I contacted them earlier this afternoon, and
look at us all being prepared more than 15 minutes before the show. So I didn't even think I was going to make it tonight.
Yeah.
I had one of those days in mortgage that if anybody's a loan officer or a realtor, you understand the kind of day I had today. It was one of these. I didn't know which way was up or down, but it's all good. And just happy to be here. Shout out to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Looks like they had a great crowd Saturday night. Why can't we get big crowds on Friday nights and Saturday during the day? You know what I mean? I just see it everywhere I go. I mean, not just indoor, I see it outdoor. Unless you're just this truly established pull for 40 or 50 years, it just seems like Saturday night is always the...
Yeah, it's tough to say because every market is different.
Yeah.
So right now, winter is basketball, so basketball is really big,
Yep.
and we sit at Cloverdale. I don't know if that affects Squirtyville as much because they do have a pretty good crowd, but obviously
Yeah.
Saturday night is still the biggest.
Yep.
I just think that's the night that people go out now. You
Like
know?
Hutchinson, I went there last year. They had huge crowds both Friday night and Saturday night, but that's a well-established pull. And there's not a lot of... That's the only Grand National in Minnesota, right? There's no Champions
Correct.
Tours. So, I mean, that one has a great feel for it. If you've been following us on Facebook a little bit, Ryan and I will be down in Texas. You're going to Texas again, by the way.
Okay.
May 15th, 14th through the 15th
Thanks for letting me
and 16th.
know.
15th through the 16th. We'll be down in Nordheim, Texas. If you remember, we took the Ag Explorer Remedy down there with us last year. My uncle Paul drove it on Friday night. I pulled it on Saturday night, and the motor ran backwards, so that was a lot of fun. So we loaded up and headed home right away so Tony could start working on it. But the reason I'm mentioning it is we are going to have like a brush pull. And I'm not really necessarily sponsoring it, but Ryan and I are going to kind of headhunt it and get it organized. Going to have some local diesel truck classes, maybe a gas truck class, maybe some open farm tractors. Steve Hovind has some diesel garden tractors. He called me last night as well, so we're trying to check a couple things out about that. So we're excited about May. It's literally, Ryan, I mean, you got Farm Show, we got Kansas City, we got Lincoln. It is going to go bang, 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 and we're going to be outdoors again. So crazy. Farm Show's next week already.
I know. It's hard to believe. If you're down in Florida, which actually Rick, when we'll be calling him,
Okay.
He's actually in Florida right now. He goes to Florida for the winter, so lucky him. But Cal, Florida is this weekend. They kind of put on.
Yeah.
That's kind of like their big event for the
Does
year.
Will Witt go down to that one?
I believe so. I believe
Okay.
it's actually going to be live streamed on fullpull.tv this year.
Okay, so Ron's down there then too, probably?
Yeah.
Ron
correct.
and Nate, I
So
think they've been pushing it.
hopefully he doesn't party too much this weekend. So congratulations to all our Kansas City Chief fans.
Yeah. that's
50
pretty
years
neat.
in the making.
that game was awesome, the last
Yes.
21. So, and the strippers at halftime, that was
Yeah, I know,
fantastic. I
apparently,
mean,
yeah.
and people give us shit because we post racy stuff on our Facebook from time to time. From now on, when somebody says, when I called them cheap pricks at Gordyville, I'm gonna say, did you watch the Super Bowl? So if your kids are watching the Super Bowl, I guarantee you they've seen worse than cheap pricks now. So
There you go.
there's my shout out
There
to
you
my two haters out there that make it public. So the Promote 365 campaign, again, I kind of talked about this earlier today. That's not about us. You don't need to use Promote 365 in your post. That's just Ryan and I and Big Ryan and all of us beer money and social media people. We are seeing the facts because for 7 years we have posted every single day, and we are approaching 900,000 followers and we're over 760,000 likes now. And I just got a text message from the Canadian pullers that they said they've been posting daily and they're seeing great effects. I've seen people start TikTok accounts, stuff like that. We're getting pulling to the masses, and we're all in this together. We all post daily. If you're a fan, you should be posting your favorite pullers or which pull you're going to next. And we know everybody's got tons of video and photos in your phone from a pull. I just turned my light on. How did I do that?
You're trying to blind me.
How did I do that? Seriously, these iPhones.
You got an Apple, so I can't help you.
Crazy. I don't
Can't help you at all.
Anyway,
So.
and then if you're an association, you need to be posting about what's going on in your world, maybe sharing some stuff like just one a day, guys. One a day, guys and gals. I know there's a bunch of people. We can all do this together, and we can. I'm not trying to be corny, but we can make polling great again and fill the stands like we used to back in the day. So that's my. I'll get off my soapbox, Ryan. So what do you want to talk about before we get Kurt on the phone? I'm trying to turn my flashlight off.
You're still trying to figure out how to turn off the flashlight.
That
is
iPhones
Apple.
are cool.
I thought they're supposed to be easy to run.
Well, you got to be smart, and I'm not that smart. Anybody knows me knows that I can't. Not that smart.
Nope, I'm just getting ready for. I'm going to be going down to Louisville.
Louisville?
So, yes.
How do you say it, Louisville?
I think the if you're down there, if you're from the area, it's Louisville.
Louisville.
But I think if you're from the north, they know you're from the north. We say Louisville. So,
Louisville.
Yeah.
So how should I say it, Ryan? How do you want me to
But
say
I know if you're from Ohio, it's Louisville. So
no, that's a Louisville, Ohio.
that's what I'm saying.
But there's a Louisville, Kentucky.
I know that's what. So depending on what.
Somebody had made a funny meme about the Louisville thing. I thought that was pretty. I got a kick out of that. So I think I figured it out.
Wow.
Wow, look at it. You just
3 minutes later.
You press the little flashlight button. So, iPhone 11s, guys, are great. Got great cameras and everything, but your flashlight just turns on. So.
No, I think let's take a break and we'll get Kurt on and we'll talk some state level polling.
Yeah, if we do a bonus show, Adam, we have all of our Gordyville and our Cloverdale picks.
Yeah,
we got to go through all this.
We have not. We ran out of time each time,
Yep.
so yeah, we still have to go over that. So
while we're on break, everybody type into the comments what poll they're going to next or what they're most excited about the 2020 season. Keep the chatter going. Keep the chatter going in there. So we'll be right back. Get Kurt on the phone.
And welcome back into Let's Grow Pulling here in the Egg Explorer and Schaefer's Oil Studios.
Yeah, well, I think Schaefer's going to have to give us more money if we're going to start pulling like
Okay.
that, because we have Sempico on tonight and everything. It's going to be a rough one.
I know.
We're going to battle the oils.
Yes.
So, speaking of oils, I mean, I'm just kidding. We have Kurt Afdahl with us. He is the president of the WTPA, and he's a light pro stock puller of the Weekend Mistress. Kurt, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. How long have you been the El Presidente of the WTPA?
This is my third year as a president.
Okay. And then you're still alive? Nobody's hung you yet or anything like that? Or
Exactly right. Yep, it's been interesting to say the least.
I understand that. No, I was in Badger State. I was vice president for a couple years, and Greg's been president forever, as you know. And you guys have the most thankless job. It's like being the mayor of a small town. It just people either love you or they want to absolutely just kill you. So, but you handle it very well. You're very professional. You're very positive. That's why I wanted to have you on the show. I enjoy listening to you talk and watching you work with WTPA, what you guys have been able to do. I really feel like the last 3 or 4 years has gained some good momentum. You're putting on some great polls, seeing a lot more stuff on social media and the websites and different things like that. So, let's talk about the 2019 season a little bit. What are some of the highlights from you from the president's seat?
We are working very, very hard to incorporate more of our members and their families into working with WTPA through the entry trailer and the girls that work very hard at entry. We brought a lot of pulling families into entry. It's a family organization and a family sport, and we're really trying to showcase that and just bring more people in. We've actually advertised that, someone maybe can't step up and build a pulling vehicle, but if they want to be associated with pulling, we invited them to take the tech class and possibly become a tech official. And that went over very, very well. We've got some new tech officials, some great guys. And we encourage our pullers to come early to the events, interact with the fans, and then after it's over, instead of just loading up and heading out, we encourage them to stick around, enjoy the fans, give out some shirts, just speak with the fans and encourage more families to come to the events. We're really excited that this coming year is the 50th anniversary of WTPA, and we've been brainstorming as a board of directors and as members to try and come up with ways that we can further build upon WTPA and just increase our viewers and our fan base and just make this a great association.
Yeah, I watch, Brent's a good friend of mine, Brent Yarn, obviously, with Hooked Up Pulling Productions, and he does an amazing job for you guys with the video and stuff like that. To have a video guy like that, to put that content out there, it's amazing. It's top notch, very professional. You would think, it was coming straight from the NTPA itself when you look at the quality of his videos. And it seems like the Colby pull, was that your pull of the year this year? Is that correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay, it
Yep.
seems like I saw some really big crowds for you guys. Like, is it like Menominee? What's that sweep in like that August time frame? There's is that the Dunn County Fair? There's some. I was at Ridgeland. That place was packed. I mean, I saw some really big crowds for you guys this summer.
Oh, it was great. It was really good. And we've got a very good social media committee going right now that we're working on brainstorming ideas. And I'm glad you mentioned Brent. I mean, Hooked Up Pulling, he's got some great ideas that we're going to build upon. One of them is we're going to try and do more driver introductions to put our face with the tractors, with the pulling vehicles, because maybe the fans they don't know who we are if we've got a helmet on, so maybe they can see us without our full gear on and then come up and talk to us afterwards. We're building upon the live results, and we've got a lot more great ideas that we're trying to build upon, and I'm really excited what we've got going on and what we're going to build upon. So it's really cool what we got going on.
Right, you really do. You're doing a good job with everything. Been paying attention to it. If you're just joining us, it's February 3rd. We're on the phone with Kurt Afdahl. He's the president of WTPA. If you have any questions for Kurt or any comments, please type them into the comments here on Facebook, and we'll be sure to ask them. So Colin Burkholtz is saying the WTPA light superclass is grand national quality, and the light limited superstock class is impressive how fast it's growing there. You're the light supers. It's like going to a Grand National when you go to any state level pull with the Grand National pull or with your light limited tractors that you have.
Correct.
And the light limited class, the way you guys adopted the diesels and the alkies, I mean, when was it, 3 or 4 years ago when you kind of went to those national rules? Does that sound about right?
I would say about 4 years ago, yes, correct.
Okay. And it's nice to see the Alkies and the Diesels get mixed together like that. So, and I saw some of the
Yes,
tractors do well down at Gordyville, obviously, as we were down
You
there.
bet that class has really taken off. It's a great class. There's a lot of color. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got pretty much every color you can imagine in that class, and that's it's not just a red green class like some of our other ones. It's got everything in it, so it's very entertaining.
Yeah, the cubic inch maximum allows all the brands to compete. The Alice, the Ford, the white. There's a case in there, right? I'm trying to think of all the different colors. Are there any Olivers or Deutzes?
Yep.
I'm trying to remember.
Not in our organization yet.
Okay, so, but we see those in some of the other organizations as well. So, but it definitely, like you said, it brings everything out there a little bit. So let's talk about your class a little bit, the Light Pros. Really starting to grow nationally. We're seeing it very, very popular. Ohio, Indiana region. Starting to see it pick up like in the Western Series a little bit. It's been growing in Badger State. And I feel like WGPA's probably had the strongest numbers of the Light Pro stocks in the nation besides maybe Region 2 the last 3 or 4 years. What has made that class so popular, do you think, in Wisconsin, in your guys' neck of the woods?
It's truly a driver class because it's a little light. It is what's 1,000 pounds lighter than Limited Pro stock. Similar horsepower, but it's more of a driver class. And trying to read the track correctly, as well as the right gear, right air pressure combination, and it's a lot of driver involved. And we're really excited this year. We actually have 2 hooks in Toma. And we are hoping that because we have a second hook added for Toma, that we're going to get a lot more of our neighboring regions to bring some tractors. And we should have a really good turnout this year in Toma.
Yeah, did you, like this Mike Palmer and all those guys, there's some really good guys in that Region 2 area. I talked to them at Cloverdale and Gordyville. Hopefully they'll venture their way up here. And Toma's a destination pull. I mean, it's pretty cool there. So Burkholz must have whined his little butt off because they went from not having you guys at all to now there's two sessions. Did he call David Schreier and like promise him a hug for Easter, or what did he do? What? Come on, Colin.
Well, there's been several of us that have put some requests in, worked hard to put some sponsorship together, and made a lot of phone calls. So yeah, Colin does a lot, but there's several others that have worked pretty hard too. So like I said, it's a team effort, and we have a great class. We all get along, and it's a lot of fun. There's definitely rivalry there, and we also get along quite well too. So it's fun.
It is fun. No, it's fun to pick on Burkholz. He's always ragging on us on Monday nights here on our show, Kurt. So we razz him all the time that we can. But
sure.
I mean, I love watching that class with you guys, WTPA. The mini rods, you got some really good mini rods. The trucks, it's a really good, well-rounded association. You're picking up good numbers. As you look at the future, Kurt, like if you could forecast 5-10 years down the road, is there another class that the WTPA needs to bring in, or do we just continue to strengthen on the core that we have? Kind of what's your vision like with you and the board as you guys look down the road?
Well, we brought in the 2.6 diesel truck class this last year, and they did a really nice job of bringing something to the table that we haven't had in the past. And they bring a lot of fans, a lot of excitement, and it's a change of pace. We felt that if we have too many just straight tractor classes, people could get bored. There's times that people don't understand the difference between a super farm, a light pro, and a limited pro.
Yep.
And this would just really bring something different. That we can split the classes up, we can split the show up, and kind of break the monotony a little bit. And they get something for everyone to look at. And we've got a real nice assortment. So when a promoter comes and wants to book a show, they've got a lot of classes they can choose from. And that's what's really cool about our organization is they can look at what we have, and it's up to them to pick what classes they want right now.
Yeah,
and we're just going to build upon building numbers in each one of these classes for now is what our goal is.
And there seems to be a pretty strong section of 2.6 trucks, in that central Wisconsin, western Wisconsin area that you guys kind of run in. And, like Ray J went down and won at Gordyville. And that's one. Didn't he win your points last year?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so I mean, you got some tough trucks, and he was down there against trucks from all over the Midwest, and he won it. So that's a good reason to have it. And I like too is that you're staying in your lane, like you're not going after like the 3.0 trucks, which we don't have many of anymore, and the 3.6 trucks tend to travel more. I just like that we're not trying to cherry pick classes from everybody. I like it when clubs like, hey, I know what we have in our area, let's support it. You know what I mean? And let's let's have a class for them and make it happen for them. I love that the mindset was there. Like there's some local guys, these 2.6 trucks, they make good power. They're putting out a good show. Let's give them a place. And then to be part of the WTPA or the NTPA, that's a big deal for a puller. You know what I mean? Especially like a young kid. And that's where you tend to see the younger guys and gals coming into the sport, Kurt, is in the diesel truck class. Don't you agree?
Yes, I agree. As you look at the age of some of our competitors, some of us might start to get a little bit long in the tooth, but by bringing that class in, it brought a whole another age category, and that's what's really cool to see. And, we interact with those guys, and once they got used to how we work on these events, they're a lot of fun. I really enjoy every one of those guys.
Yeah. So I have a dream, and I can't afford it right now, but when the Schultz mortgage team has enough money, I want to pick like 3 pulls from WTPA and 3 from Badger State, and they kind of have, so they don't conflict with each other, but like we pick a couple classes and have like a Wisconsin championship. I think that'd be a blast. But let me put some money together first before I come to you with that idea, Kurt. So
that's a really neat idea.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do that for years, but the whole money thing, it takes, I don't want to do it for $100. I don't think people would do that, if you know what I mean. So,
right.
It's a lot of fun. Let's talk about you and your pulling. I follow you on Facebook. We're Facebook friends, dude. You're like super dad. You make me look like a turd when you build slalloms and stuff for your kids and things like that. How old are you now? Just tell me how old you are. Admit it to the Facebook world.
I'm mid to late 40s.
Okay. Oh, mid to late 40s. He's being a little vague there.
Yep.
There must be an age limit to be president of the WTPA. He's like that kid. He's like that Puerto Rican kid who played baseball in the Little League World Series and had a fake ID. So
he's got his little handwritten.
He's got a little handwritten. My mom says I'm only 16.
Yes.
How long have you been pulling? How about that, Kurt?
Geez, I had to have my parents sign off when we started pulling farm stock and just turn the pump up. Believe it or not, this was the first tractor I ever bought. We ran it farm stock back when I was 14. So that's 32 years that I've been pulling. And then we just kind of built and built and built. And it's probably something I would not recommend. If I was to start over, I would go out and just buy a chassis that's done. Versus this tractor, believe it or not, the hoods are original on this tractor. The original hoods it came from the factory with, and thanks to my wife, they're going to stay there forever. She's the one that named the tractor, and even though I would prefer to have a one-piece flip hood, she said we started with these hoods, we're going to finish with these hoods. So every year we've made changes, improvements, and it's a learning experience. I had a couple of stumbles last year, but I think we got that figured out. And thanks to her, this tractor is going to stay in the family for a long time. I've got 1, maybe 2 seasons left in me, and then it goes to my oldest daughter. She will be taking control of the tractor soon. So I'm going to make another run or 2, and then I get to sit back and I can be the Ether Boy and just watch her run it up and down the track.
Ether Boy. We're going to get you a T-shirt that says Ether Boy, Kurt. So, I like that a lot. And then then Colin can get beat by a girl. We'll pick on him about that.
Hopefully so.
Hopefully so. Oh, I love it.
We'll have to make a movie too.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll get Adam Sandler.
One thing I'm guilty of is I talk a lot about the cost of pulling versus the return on investment for a puller. And I know promoters aren't getting rich either, and that's why I'm big on this whole, if we all promote every day, we can all grow this thing together. But the time commitment is not something that I talk about enough. The time it takes to go pulling in the weekends. It's a year-round job for you, Kurt. Your phone blows up every day with something, I guarantee it. And talk about that family support and your family and what it takes, and not just your family, anybody with a WTPA. It's crazy.
It's really neat that it truly is our pulling family, and our last run of the year was always Ridgeland, and it's bittersweet. When you're pulling out, we always camp out, and so we live in the hauler on the weekends. And the next morning after Ridgeland's done, it's kind of bittersweet to, the season's over, it's a sigh of relief, but yet you're disappointed that the next weekend you're not going to be seeing your pulling family. You pull in every week. You generally park by the same people. probably the greatest event is Toma. We take the hauler down almost a week early. We find a good parking spot, and then each one of our pulling family members park next to us, and we just set up camp for the week. It's a phenomenal experience, and if you're not pulling, if you're not into pulling right now, if you're not driving a tractor, if you're just simply a fan, just walk around and just see how we interact. It's phenomenal. My wife just absolutely loves it, and it's the interaction we have, and it's a great time every single weekend. It gets to be a lot of work. You leave Saturday morning. Sometimes you don't get back till Sunday afternoon, or if it's a 2-day event, you just add more and more time. But it's a blast. I'm really glad that I'm bringing my family up this way. It's basically our cabin, you might say.
Yep.
It's the way we spend our free time in the summer.
It's your lake house.
There you go.
I like it. Hey, one last question for you before we let you go. So I talk about Colby a lot because Lonnie and I talk a lot, and we're always kicking ideas around and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to just beat down the Colby bandwagon that it's the best, but what are some other polls that you think are really up and coming for you guys on your circuit, or some people we haven't talked about, like Menominee and some of those ones up there? I've seen some really big crowds. I want to give some kudos to some of the promoters in your organization.
You bet. I mean, the work that Lonnie does, he has brought ideas to the table that we've never dreamt of, and to involve the kids the way he does is phenomenal. I give that guy so much credit. I highly respect him and all he does, and we're working with him to try and promote that kind of atmosphere in other events. Wyowega, they've got a great event. It's large, very nice facility, nice fairgrounds. I don't want to take anything away from anyone else, but the list goes on and on. I'm looking at our list from last year, and there's a lot of phenomenal places. Ridgeland, what a great atmosphere.
Ridgeland's awesome.
Just from the bleachers and the whole atmosphere associated with Ridgeland is different, but different in a unique, special way. And it's a really cool place to pull.
And they drink a lot of beer there. So.
Yep.
No, I went up to the top with some of my friends that were with me, and my sponsor wanted my tractor up there. He's like, you're taking your tractor to Ridgeland, and they brought some Ag Explorer reps with us and stuff, and because he knew that was a big pull. And I didn't have a motor in my tractor, and he wanted it at Ridgeland, so we just pulled it out the back of the trailer and had fun, and we went to the top. And I've always seen Ridgeland, seen the pictures. We went to the very top of the top. And what a hike. I'm not in good shape anymore, Kurt. They're going to have an escalator for years to go coming up there. But what a cool place to watch a pull. To see it's awesome. Those old hillsides like that are just so cool. So cool.
It is. It's really cool.
And what a good way for a town like that. I think Ridgeland's 200 people, and that fills the place up. So.
Oh, exactly. Yep.
Cool. August Norlander says Hammond, Wisconsin. So there you go. He's got a shout out for Hammond.
There we go.
So, well, cool. Kurt, anything else before we let you go tonight?
That is it. I just want to thank you very much for all you do for the pulling world, and we respect all you do, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
And we'll be there for you. Thank you a lot, Kurt. Have a great night, buddy.
Thank you very much. Yep. Bye.
Kurt Afdahl, everybody with us, the president of WTPA, also light pro stock puller, the weekend mistress. He is a hoot. If you follow him on social media, the stuff he does with his kids, they're always snowmobiling doing something. He's like super dad.
Yes.
So, and pretty cool there. And had some good private conversations with him, and he's a very, very open-minded, wants to grow the sport. In the past, I got caught up in all the rivalries between the clubs and associations in the Midwest, and even especially in Wisconsin with just Badger State. And now that I've stepped off the board and just kind of look back with open eyes, I hope that we all realize we need to get along. And I know Kurt has that attitude and just wants to work together. And I hope we just see some pullers move around a little bit to support each other's events, because it's good to go to different events and shake it up a little bit. That's been fun for us the last couple of years to go. And sometimes you don't know where you're going. You and I got lost a couple times.
Yeah.
And I've been on some gravel roads with my toter.
The stories I hear for people trying to get to Hillsborough for the first time.
Yeah, Lustig's had a good one, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, we had the bridges out on 80, and they're coming from Monroe, so there was no really good way for them.
You get in southern Wisconsin.
I just tell people don't follow any lettered roads because you don't know where it's taking you, and that's where the GPS thinks is the fastest. So.
But to hear him touch on the family, the part of it, that's what the Pulling family is, and it's his real family plus all of his friends, and he sees every weekend. So it takes people like that to lead a club because you have so many different personalities within a club, within an organization. They all think they have the right idea, and how you merge all of that to put on the great show. Because at the end of the day, how do we put on the best show for our spectators and take care of our pullers at the same time? Because the pullers want a place to pull, but we got to put on a good show for the spectators. So
yes.
A lot of fun. Kurt's doing a good job, and I think we'll continue to see the WTPA stay strong. And I think adding the 2.6 diesel trucks was very, very smart. I think if you have a club and you don't have diesel trucks, you're missing the boat on it, because no matter what level, I think that really draws in. And Kurt touched on a little bit, that younger fan base, Ryan. We saw it. We've seen it with all of our friends and with Badger State and even our events here in Richland Center. So.
Yeah, so going from one president to another, move out east to Full Pull Productions, and
so Rick's down in Florida. He's at Ocala.
No, he lives in Florida in the wintertime.
He's on vacation.
Yes.
Did Rick used to be a teacher?
Yep.
Brandon's teacher.
Yeah.
Well, he should have flunked
history.
Brandon. Beat him upside the head or something. Maybe he did. Maybe he
We'll
did.
have to ask him.
We'll have to ask him. So, don't leave us. We'll be right back with Rick Feicht.
Did
he say that?
No, he just said he just popped it out.
Oh, Brandon must have got internet for 17 seconds.
Yes.
Brandon, I miss you, dude. I miss you. He used to be like on the Facebook page every day, but he's like, there's this little hole outside of Ithaca. It's like internet hell, and he happens to live in it. And I can't afford to go to put DSL out to his house.
Yeah.
What if I could? I don't know. What should I do? Should I do the Beer Money Wisconsin shootout, or should I get Brandon? I think I'll get Brandon internet first. Then I'll work on that.
Sure.
See what we can do. So while we're getting Rick on the phone, we're gonna flip over. But maybe type in your favorite pulls in Wisconsin if you're a Wisconsin puller, or maybe if you've been to Canfield, to the world's, is it the world's, what do they call it? The world's
largest? No, I think it's
largest
Ohio's largest.
largest
I
county
believe
fair.
That's what Brandon said. He can comment.
Yeah, Brandon, start tromping up the Canfield thing. So we're gonna get Rick on the phone. We'll be right back.
And welcome back into Let's Grow Pulling on this February 3rd. Hard to believe.
It's 42 degrees out today.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin. What's going on?
Yes. Hopefully, no one's having a Groundhog's Day.
Right.
But joining us now on the show, we got Rick Feicht, and he is the CEO of Full Pull Productions. And was it about a week ago or a couple weeks ago, Rick, that they kind of made the official announcement for what you guys are going to do, the Sempico Unlimited Superstock Challenge out in Canfield, Ohio?
Yes, it was. I think actually the announcement was made February the 1st, but we've been playing around with with a lot of ideas and bouncing them off different people for a while. But the actual announcement was made last weekend.
Yeah, and it is, we had about a couple months ago, we had Brent Payne on with Glot Motorsports and what they're going to be doing out in Benson. So very similar and what you guys have done at Full Pool Productions, and of course some Pico stepping on board to help you guys out. And we talked about earlier this evening about Brandon Johnson and what he said about the Canfield Fair and just how big that event is, and I think it's going to be quite an event for what you guys are putting up for purse money and what you're doing for the Unlimited Superstock class.
The Canfield Fair is the largest agricultural fair in the state of Ohio. Probably the only thing bigger would be the Bowling Green event. Canfield has 2 tracks. They have a huge facility, big grandstand. It's an ideal facility for bowling. The one drawback to Canfield is the fact that particular Saturday is just a huge day there, and they'll have 100,000 people on the grounds, and so it is just a big day, and it creates lots of obstacles of getting guys through the gate, get everybody inside. And then the worst of the matter is they have harness racing in the afternoon. So from noon till 2, they have harness racing going on. This is big-time Ohio State harness racing. And so we can't get into the infield until after the last horse gets out of there. So we have to keep people outside, and everybody's got to win at one time. And so it's a logistical nightmare, but it has worked over the years.
Yeah, I did see that when on your post you put on pull off, the logistics. So I'm sure you're going to be getting quite a few people, probably first-time pullers with this Unlimited Superstock challenge to the fair, and what they need to expect, and just what you guys have to do to stay organized in that type of atmosphere.
Well, our goal, of course, is to keep the Canfield Fair as the top pull in this area, and we work for the Canfield Fair. Craig Myers is the chairman of the event over at Canfield, and so we work really closely with him to make the thing work. And of course, we have good partners in that the Goshen Center Ruritan Club, which also produces the Bunker Hill Shootout, their guys come and work for us that day. So they take care of the dirt, the move, everything has to do with building the track. All of the workers on the track, scrapers, rollers, just all of that stuff is the Goshen Center Ruritans, and their top guy Kevin Martig is in charge of the track building, and so it's a good combination to get the whole thing to work.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Like, this is one of the only few events that has also been co-sanctioned with NTPA at a grand national level, correct? For many years.
That is correct. We have been co-sanctioned with NTPA for a number of years, and the big draw was when we had the unlimited modified tractors come, and the unlimited modifieds were a big draw. But a year ago, the NTPA made the determination that you had to have 2 hooks to get the unlimited modifieds. And what the Canfield Fair had been doing for a couple of years is to get around that, they'd been paying a double purse. And so the purse was huge for that operation as well. But ultimately, they just made the determination they would not be able to come. And so last year, Canfield agreed to run the NTPA as a regional show.
Okay.
And it was sort of a letdown. Good tractors there. We had 2-wheel drives and modified tractors, regional, but it was a letdown from what we had before, and the fans let the fair know that they thought it was a letdown.
No, I mean when they come to expect the level, when you see unlimited modifieds, and there's nothing wrong with those competitors that run regional level. It's just what the fans have come to expect at the Canfield Fair, and that's I think they have every right to think that way.
It's going to be the biggest and the best.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. So if you're just joining us, we got Rick Feicht with us. He's the CEO of Full Pool Productions. If you have a question for Rick, please type it in the comments or a comment or anything like that. Brandon wants to know, Rick, how many people do the grandstands hold there in Canfield? Do you have any numbers on that?
Yes, the grandstand will hold just shy of 10,000 people.
Wow. And it's full. I've seen the pictures and videos.
No, it's full. It is full. They have seats down on the a paved area down front. They put a bunch of chairs in there. They sell pit passes. It's a jam-packed place. Without a doubt, the biggest pool that we're involved in any given year.
Well,
but keep in mind that in addition to the NTPA classes, we also have USA East classes there. And so this year there will be 4 USA East classes running along with the unlimited Superstock shootout, the challenge from San Pico. Plus, we're going to have the Ohio mini rod pullers coming to town for the first time. So there'll be 6 classes on 2 tracks, and of course, our big rig pulling series is also there. So it's a huge event for the fans. They'll get to see 6 really good classes of pulling.
What's the date on this, Rick?
This is going to be the 5th of September. That's a Saturday night of Labor Day weekend.
Wow. That sounds pretty awesome.
And you kind of want to talk about how this all came about with the Unlimited Superstock Challenge and of course with Sempico jumping on board?
Well, our goal was to try to produce something that was similar to these unlimited modified tractors. And of course, NTPA had virtually dropped not dropped this class, but you guys know the whole background.
Yep.
And most people in pulling know the background. The class has gone away. It doesn't necessarily have to go away as far as I'm concerned. That class is a viable class. But the key is, if we're going to run that class on September the 5th, it can't be being run somewhere else. That's the bottom line. And so early on in this process, I met with John Mears. We were at the same New York Tractor Pullers banquet up in Albany, New York. And I met with him, and we talked about this. I wanted to make sure that PPL was not planning to run an event that night, or this would not work, nor would we try it. And I knew NTPA wasn't running anything that night. So then we started to put this together. I talked to Jordan Lustig and Rich Lustig. Of course, Rich and I go back right back to the very beginning when he first started pulling. And so we went through this, and I said to him, what about it? And he said he would talk to San Pico and see if they would be interested in being the title sponsor, which they stepped right up to be the title sponsor. And once those pieces were all put in place, then we then took it over to the Canfield Fair and made a proposal to the Canfield Fair with exactly what we had in mind. And you can imagine for just a moment going to a fair board and proposing $20,000 purse. That everybody's eyes were wide open, and so they had to discuss this.
Especially for one class.
Yeah.
Especially for one class. And remember, this whole show, this whole pool with all of the 6 classes and the sleds and everything that goes into it, going to be north of $60,000 to put it on.
For one night.
For that one night, one session. So you got to have the 10,000 people, and you got to have the bits, and you have to have the sponsorship.
Yeah.
So it'll all come together, and it did not take the fair board a long time to decide. I might add, they are very progressive, and it did not take them a long time to decide. And the fact that one of their other acts a year ago was a Toby Keith concert, the north of 60 didn't sound too bad to them.
Right. and that's one thing good to hear. I've never heard of a fair board being called progressive before. Usually it's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
But then you have 100,000 people there too. They have to put on the best show. So
yeah, they have to be the best. There's a lot of other fairs right in that area, and so this has got to be the best show, and it is. Traditionally, it is the best.
Yep. Can you kind of go through then? Like, so if I haven't, for the people that don't follow, maybe like Ryan and I do, can you kind of give us the breakdown of the Unlimited Super, how you're doing it? Is there an entry fee? What's a top prize? Can you just kind of go through the basics for everybody?
Yeah, well, there'll be a $100 entry fee if you buy up front. In other words, there's a form online, fill it out, send it in with your $100, and you're in. That particular entry fee gets you six pit passes, get you 6 meal cards, preferred parking spot in the infield, and then if you decide you really don't want to get it up front, you can pay $200 cash on the day of the event. Come in before 4:00 and register your tractor, and you're in. Super stocks only. We're not taking pro stocks. We're not taking super farms, although we have another super farm class that day. But so it'll be super stock tractors only. And we would anticipate about half and half pre-entry and half showing up the day of. And we're going to announce the pre-entries as soon as they come in so people know who they can expect to see. And we've got a pretty good list right now of pre-entries as well, of guys that have already verbally committed to participate.
Awesome. That's
and
awesome.
So the purse will pay $5,000 to win. It's a $20,000 total purse. It's not going to break down slow. It's going to break down fast. It'll be 5, 4, 3, I think 25, 2, 15, 12, 10. So it's going to go down fairly slow. 12 places will get paid the bottom end is going to get $300 in 12th place, and the payout will be done that night. So everybody that has win will get it. There'll be a big trophy for the winner, and we anticipate having the leadership of St. Pico there. Remember, one of the owners, Paul Webster, who's the owner of St. Pico, lives in Bainbridge, Ohio, which can't be but 40 miles from Canfield. So a lot of people don't realize that he lives there. The other owner is from the state of Maine, Dave Stevenson, and he's told me that he's going to plan to try to be there as well for this.
Nice. I mean, this is a flagship, and I've talked to Dave before, and he has talked about how much the Silver Bullet and their sponsorship and polling has done for their business over the years. You know, to give the awareness to the farmers and the construction workers and different things like that. So it's good to see them give back. You know what I mean, on something like this. And in the land of not a lot of these big, just basically go run for the money pools, you can really splash your name out there, Rick, pretty quick and get good promotion, get a good buzz about it, and receive good feedback as a sponsor, and ultimately good name recognition. That's why they do all of this.
Oh, I think it's going to work out fine. And the St. Pico has a national sales convention. It'll take place, in fact, about a month from today, right, in March, down in St. Simons, Georgia. They have a national sales convention, and they've asked me to be the MC for that convention for about the last 15 years. So I've got to know all the St. Pico salesmen, all the staff, and everything. And so we have a good relationship as well. And Rich and Jordan and their families are always there for the sales convention.
Is that where Jordan did his burnout a couple years ago?
Oh, that was the spot. That was right there. Oh, yeah.
And there was like a car on the road, and I think they started.
Yeah.
They were like, "What?"
I shared the crap out of that video on Beer Money. I think that has so many views.
Well, they were impressed. Everybody was impressed. You should have seen all the neighbors come out for it too.
We got lots of questions coming in now, Rick. So pay attention
and comments.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Colin Ross, I'm sure you might know.
Colin Ross, I've heard of him. Does he have a super farm?
Yeah, I think.
I think a super farm
Up
with
and
4
coming,
Chargers.
Up and coming super farm. But he commented that he got his first win in a pull-off with Brian Schrammick and Carlton Cope at Canfield, and he said that you were on the mic that night, and that's a memory that he'll never forget.
Yeah, well, Ross family, of course, pulled with us for many, many years in our smoker series. His dad pulled with us, and of course his grandfather Joe Ross is a good friend of ours, and his late grandmother, all good friends of ours. We've known that family for an awful long time.
Yeah, and then Josh Bauman says that in Clearfield, they're very thankful to have an awesome 2-day event that you guys are doing this year.
Yeah, Clearfield is another of our big clients. Clearfield is out by State College, with the home of Penn State.
Okay.
It's in the mountains. It's out of the way. It's not on the main drag. It's on Interstate 80, but in the middle of the state of Pennsylvania. And boy, do they get a crowd for that. Oh man, they get a crowd. But out there, they are big truck fans. That's what people want to see in Clearfield is truck fans, trucks, semi-trucks and pickup trucks, and a tractor or two. But they could get by with no tractors, and everybody would be really happy. They want to see trucks out there.
Rick, what's your limited pro? Like, I have a 4.1, but your limited pro is not the same as my 4.1, right?
No, it's not the same. We were limited pros before anybody knew what limited pros were. Also, these tractors are called mod turbos.
Okay.
There are 2 organizations in the East that run this particular class. One is the Interstate Pullers. They're called mod turbos down there. They do not allow super farms to run in their class.
Okay.
Ours are called limited pros, and we do allow super farms. Now, very simply put, our limited pros are limited at the pump, not at the turbo. So the limited pro has an A pump on it.
Okay.
And whatever you can do with an A pump and still maintain the Bosch housings, you're good to go. So this is where when Hart started developing these big plunger A pumps, everybody had to go buy them. We have seen these limited pro A pump tractors run against the Ohio light pros. They won't beat them, but they will finish in the top 5.
Nice.
They're there. But our tractors have an unlimited turbocharger on them. There's no limit to the turbo. And they're basically 540.
Okay, so it's like okay. Cool.
540. But then they'll run against super farms, which are super farms just exactly like the national super farms. In fact, Dan Park, who was our champion a couple years ago with a tractor called Saturday Night Hooker, tied in at some point with Slamas out there, and I'm not sure the connection, but that a lot of his engine parts came from right out there in your neck of the woods.
Okay.
So the super farms are the same as the national super farms.
And then
we had
you-
a super
but
farm
what do they
winner
weigh?
last year, and a limited pro the year before. They take turns.
How do the weights? Don't you handicap the limited pros a
We
little
do.
bit on weight?
Yes, 87 for the limited pros and 93 for the super farms.
Okay, cool. I like it.
Yeah. Well, we have to run a lot of combination classes, out here in this part of the country. Now, by the way, those limited pro super farms will be at Canfield that day, and that is an open entry class, so that if a guy has a super farm and wants to come and be part of the big show, they're welcome to participate that day as well.
I would think if I was a puller, because that's why I was asking about their limited pro.
Yeah.
Like, I want to kind of be bringing the remedy out to this little deal. This would be because Brandon's been trying to tell me I need to go to Canfield.
Exactly. And of course, we also do something with the trucks too. Our truck class, which we call Run What You Brung, is a 7,600-pound Run What You Brung truck class, and it's a very, very unique class. And I know you've had it up on your page before, but
Yep.
we allow blower motors. We allow unlimited size mountain motors. We've got our champion last year had a 731 cubic inch mountain motor in it, and we have blower motors. Now we also allow, in certain configurations, we allow nitrous. So if a guy wants to put together a truck, and we've got a drag racer in here that was our champion a couple years ago, put together a Chevrolet with a 650 cubic inch with nitrous, and run it. So, and two-wheel drives are allowed in that as well.
Nice.
So it's a real wide open affair. That class will be at Canfield on that particular day.
Cool.
So the only other class we're missing, of course, the big rigs. We started the big rig series way back in the early '90s, when most of the trucks came from up in Wisconsin and Minnesota, and then they all got started down here. And for a number of years, the big rig series was the only semi-truck series in the United States. And we sanctioned with NTPA for a while, and then when ATPA came on, the big rig series was sanctioned then by ATPA.
Okay.
And by that time, then we had other NTPA formed their own semi-truck series, and then when Lucas came on the scene with PPL, they formed their own semi-truck series. So this is one of the reasons why semi-truck pulling has never really got taken off, because there are too many clubs trying to run with too few trucks
Yep.
in the semi-truck business.
Agreed.
And
Agreed. 100%.
we're very happy when we can get 6 or 7 trucks. Very happy.
Well, and kudos to you for like going to Mears and saying, "Listen, we know you have them." I mean, that's I'm happy when I hear like big promoters like you, or Kurt from the Outlaws, or obviously Randall from the NTPA, or John and Chrissy from the PPL. When you guys talk about it a little bit, and you realize there's only so many good mods, there's only so many good diesel supers, unlimited supers, big rigs, and you go, why handicap it? Let's have the best of the best here, and that's what's cool about this. I mean, I really want to try to figure out a way to come out, even just come out and watch. Be cool.
Well, it'll be a fun event. Well, you were out in Newcastle last year, were you not?
Yep, I was, and it rained out, so we
you're
got really
maybe-
drunk instead.
You're
So-
maybe 40 miles away from Canfield.
That's how close we were.
Yeah, Canfield's
maybe.
right on the border with
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
Right about 40 miles away.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. The two counties abut each other on the Ohio-Pennsylvania line, so you know about the general area that we're talking about there.
Yeah. Well, Phil Kelly's a really good friend of mine. He bought his super farm was going to be my second hot farm, and then I went to the 4.1, and then I sold that so I could afford the stupid motor in my new tractor. So you know how all this goes.
Oh no, we know how that goes. Well, PK, of course, he's still involved with the fair out there. Now, I don't think they're going to have their event this year.
Well, there was a lot of chatter back and forth. I need to follow up with them. I thought they signed a letter of intent, but I haven't talked to PK since Gordyville. And at Gordyville, I don't have time to do anything but just run my butt off. So
No, I'm sure.
I'd have
No,
to
it's
check it
not
out.
it's not on the NTPA schedule, so I guess I don't know for a fact, but
I'll check it out.
nevertheless.
Rick, how long you been doing this? Sorry, Ryan. No.
Well, full pull production started in '87.
Wow.
I worked for the Pennsylvania Tractor Pullers for a few years ahead of that. So, but full pull productions actually started in 1987. So, looks to me like a few years.
Yes, a few years.
And you really were a teacher before all this, or during this, or what's your history?
Yeah, I put 30 years in the classroom.
Wow.
30 years in the classroom.
Did you
So
retire
now you
after
start doing a little
graduating
figuring
school?
out, and you see you're talking to a pretty old guy.
No, it's good. You're very well spoken, and I love. This is fun talking to you. I like. Again, we had Kurt on earlier, and I like how you've stayed in your lane. You know where you are in the country. You know what classes you can have. I like how you combine the super farms, the limited pro. This is neat. I mean, I've learned a lot. If it wasn't for Brandon, I wouldn't know you guys even existed. But when I moved him out here to work for me at the creamery, he brought like hours of video of you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And those Run What You Brung classes have been. I mean, we got millions of views of those Run What You Brung classes out there, and so it's awesome. I love it.
It's popular stuff. And remember, we've got 12 different classes that we operate, so we've got to spread them out, and we've got a lot of events. And so, you've got to have classes to go to all of these events. And if it wasn't for my son, RJ, he started out when he was 8 years old working at the tractor pulls, and he's been at it a long time after that. And, he's my right-hand man. He does all the hands-on work. I do all the promoting, but and I know you guys mentioned earlier about me being in Florida. Believe it or not, I'm not in Florida. I just got done with the Pennsylvania Fair Convention. So I'm still in my office in Pennsylvania, but I'm going to Florida Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
Lustig.
That was our information from Lustig. So
Yeah, well, I was in Florida, but I had to come up here for these conventions.
I love
And
that.
believe it or not, it was 61 degrees in northern Pennsylvania today.
Wow.
So I didn't mind it at all.
yeah.
I love it. Well, Rick, we got to let you go here because we have our 1 hour for the
Thank you, sir.
Performance Motorsports Network. But anything you want to say before we let you go?
No, I appreciate everything you guys do. It's great to have get the word out on this tractor and duck pulling because it's the real deal, and we do a lot of promoting down our way, but the national promoting is good, and we're going to try something completely different at Canfield this year, and we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be successful. I've already got good vibrations from pullers, and I think it's going to be a successful deal.
No, I do too. And I think there's a good buzz, and I think everybody. I mean, you're paying them to come, and it's been a long time since that attitude's been out there. Like we're just going to throw a gigantic purse out there, come and get it. And we're seeing it with Payne, like we talked about with the No Bull Pull in May, and now you're doing this in September. And kudos to you, Rick. Thank you for hooking up with Sanpico and doing that. And the Lustigs are great people. I love them, and I love what they're doing for the sport as well. And the unlimited super stock tractors are still awesome. I mean, they're awesome. It's going to be great to have them all together, and it's going to be a dogfight. And you're letting Blackburns can come, right? That's the 903 Cummins and all that.
Oh yeah, they're welcome.
Any super stock tractor.
But see, we have a little bit. I don't want to take all your time, but remember, we have a little added attraction here in this part of the country. Is we have these two 650 cubic inch twin turbocharged overhead cam John Deeres that are banned everywhere. They're not banned for this. They'll be able to come and participate.
Whose tractors are those?
That's Stanley Allen, a tractor called Froggy, John Deere,
Okay.
and Slow Walking John from Fred Hildenbrand from Roughsdale, Pennsylvania. But those are two tractors that are largely banned. They can't go anywhere except with us. They cannot pull elsewhere.
Well,
So they'll be eligible for this because they have these overhead cam diesel 650 cubic inch engines.
Well, awesome. I mean, it's gonna be cool to see them together. Thank you, Rick, very much. Thank you to
Thank you, guys.
Sanpico, and we'll be pushing this for you. Okay.
Okay, great to talk to you.
Thanks, Rick.
Bye.
He's a promoter.
Oh yeah.
I like talking to guys like
Yes.
that. That's fun.
Yeah, so again, shout out to Misty and Jordan. I contacted them like early this afternoon after you messaged me, and I'm like, well, that'd be great to have either of them come on because I'm sure they knew some background with some Pico, or if they could get Rick to come on last minute like that.
So if you want to be on our show, it's not anything fancy. Half the time I'm working, right? I figure out if I can be here or not. And I'm texting you to see where you are.
Yeah.
But we have stuck with it. I mean,
Yep.
we've been doing this I think since 15. I think we started
Yeah,
with the
this is our
Polling Radio Network.
either we're going on the 4 or on we'll be going this fall will be 4 years.
Yeah,
then?
I think 16 is when we started doing, or 15 maybe
Yeah.
started the Polling Radio Network.
Yep.
And then we tried YouTube for a couple weeks, but we realized our big
And
following
then
is on
Facebook started their
The live.
Facebook Live really took off around that time.
And Brandon's watching, but remember when we went live from Sauk City, that Badger State poll, we had 4,500 live viewers. So that's before, you hear me, if you watch any of my videos, you hear me talk about algorithms all the time and what Facebook does. But man, when live video first came out, seriously, that poll that night reached 400,000 people. And Brandon and Ryan, you were up in the lift,
Yeah.
and Brandon and I were down the track, and we were like, "Whoa, this is amazing!" And then they obviously cut back the algorithms and stuff like that. But like tonight's show, like the Sullivan show last night was uber popular, one of the more popular. We got to get Esden back on again. But like Kurt held good numbers. We've held good numbers with Rick. Tonight's show will reach 10,000 people.
And it's good to see the chatter. We
Yeah.
like seeing the comments because we want to know what you guys are thinking as well, and it helps us, because you guys might think of something that we're not thinking of for questions.
I didn't realize that full poll had that many classes. I kind of thought it was just a big Greek series. I really
No.
did. And I know Brandon's talked about
They
it a
have
lot.
like almost 50 events
Yeah.
throughout the summer.
Because, I mean, you just hear Ohio, and I just think NTPA when I think Ohio.
Yeah,
And I
they
didn't know all
kind
this
of
was
cover
out
that
there.
eastern Ohio, and then of course Pennsylvania. I don't know how much outside of those two. I don't know if they go up into New York. I have to look closely at the schedule.
Where's the Buck at? Is that in Pennsylvania?
That's Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I hear the Buck all the time, too.
Yep.
So, cool. But it's just neat. I mean, I'm glad because, we are just Midwestern dorks, you and I. We don't venture out much more. We don't have time. I mean, I wish this could be our full-time job, but
Yeah,
it's
I get a
not,
chance,
so.
luckily, to go out west a few weekends out of the summer with the Western Series towards the end of July.
But our
August.
roots are Badger
Yes,
State,
yeah,
and I
the
branched out a
majority-
little bit. Yep. So
Majority of my polls are Wisconsin and Northern Illinois.
Yep.
That's
It
it's
just-
hard to get away because you're so committed to some of the other things you're
Well,
doing
your
around here.
job.
And yeah,
that's, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't be gone. I mean, you're farming or working or
Yeah.
whatever. But it's good to
and
hear.
of course, when we went down to Texas last
Yeah,
spring,
that was fun. We're doing that again. But it's good to hear another promoter that knows what he has, what's going on in his neck of the world, and how he's put these classes together. But those Run What You Brung truck classes are money. We gotta get Brandon internet one way or the other to figure this out. So to dig some, but I can go digging through the Dropbox again too. I'm pretty sure I have some videos on there a little bit. So farm show next week.
yes,
Thank you to Kurt Afdahl for coming on tonight and Rick Feicht. Love talking to promoters. Love hearing ideas. I hope everybody's realizing that social media is important and you're posting daily on there. I just think if you do that for a year, you're going to be shocked on what the awareness of your group is going to do, and you're going to really hopefully fill up the grandstands more. But 10,000 people, Toma is the only one that I've seen 10,000 people at. Right? Does it pull 10 in the night? I don't think anymore.
maybe Saturday night.
Think
I think
so?
they're like 15.
15,000.
But obviously, Bowling Green is 30,000.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, I'm just trying to
Like
think of polls that you
grandstand?
and I've been to.
Oh, yeah, I would say I know they can get 15,000 on
in
Saturday
Toma.
night. Yeah.
Okay. What are some big polls?
That's if
Hutchinson. I'd have to ask Julie what some big numbers are at Hutch.
That's a pretty big grandstand.
I think that was 7 to 10. That
Yeah.
big grandstand they have there on the one side, and the whole pit side was just
And I know
jammed.
on the state level, Elkhorn that holds 8,000
Okay.
at Elkhorn for our Badger State show, and
It's too bad they don't have a track down there that can hold horsepower.
I know.
No, I'm not picking on it.
No,
But
no.
those buggy whippers, you can't piss off those buggy whippers.
I
I would
know.
flight up the old Silver Bullet at 2 o'clock, and them freaking horses would be. But those horses
would-
cost as much as our tractors.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I'm not
and I'm
gonna
sure
rip on them too much.
those people are probably watching the buggy races too out there because from what it sounds like, it's a pretty big deal with
Oh,
those
yeah,
harness
no.
races.
I
so.
pick on the buggy racers because of Galds and Richland Center.
Yeah,
But that's a whole different level of
experience,
buggy
yeah.
whipping out there. That's the real buggy
They
whipping.
probably that's probably like a national event almost.
Oh, he said it
probably.
was.
Yeah.
So it was huge.
Yeah, so you can't beat up them too much. So
That's an event, guys, Canfield, that you're not going to want to miss if you can get to that one. And a Labor Day weekend like that, they should blow it up. 100,000 people at a fair?
yeah,
That's stupid.
that's like
That's like our state fair.
I know.
Why do we have a pull at the state fair?
Because it's at a racetrack. We don't have
sucks.
dirt. They had to bring in dirt. They tried it 1 year and it didn't go so well. I believe they actually had it was either regional, national, or grand national level in the 90s. And of course, when you've got a racetrack like Milwaukee Mile, and you might there's probably maybe 10 or 20,000 people maybe there, but then it looks like 100 because
Yeah.
it's like a 50,000 seat
Right.
grandstand. So it's tough, and it's right in the middle of an urban area.
Yep.
It sucks, when you see, Iowa, when they did have the poll there, the Iowa State Fair, and
Yep.
then of course you got Missouri
Yeah.
and Illinois, are really the two big ones left. I don't know if they do it at Nebraska State Fair anymore.
They do.
Do they? Okay, so
We
does
had
that
somebody
Outlaw-
on last year.
Does Outlaw still do
I
Nebraska
think it was
State
Bush.
Fair?
I think it was Nebraska,
Nebraska
Bush.
Bush.
Or maybe it was the Outlaws. I don't remember.
One of the two.
To check.
I
Does it
don't remember
matter?
if the Kansas State Fair, if they still have them, or if they dropped. They did in years past. They had, I believe, the Outlaws did the State Fair swing.
Mm-hmm.
But-
It's neat. I like to be exposed to step out of normal order, and it's fun to talk to Rick. And I knew Kurt, and I want to promote WTPA, but it's fun to talk to Rick because that's a whole different world out there. And I literally was like, I knew their limited pros weren't like ours, but I was kind of getting excited there for just a second. So
Yeah, like what's crazier is
McLeod.
McLeod, Kansas, because
Yeah, that's
it literally is 200 or 300 people, maybe a little bit more.
yeah,
And then you do have
That's
literally
Fisherman
8,000
Grounds.
people crammed into in that area. It is
Hillsboro, Missouri. We've driven by that, haven't we?
no, that's way southwest Ohio.
Okay, I
Wait,
swear I've
Hillsboro,
seen that.
Missouri.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Hillsboro, Missouri is
9,800 people.
by St. It's outside St. Louis.
We gotta come. I want to go to some of these big dogs like this. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
so all those county fairs around St. Louis are crazy.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're
it should be.
drawing, off of St. Louis, but also like Washington, Missouri, they have, almost maybe not as much people on the grounds, but they also have a giant concert going on at the same time as the pole.
And Washington, Missouri is like that too. I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was reading comments. No, I was reading.
Yeah, the
so
town and country fair.
Josh was talking about, or Josh Bishop's talking about. He didn't know about Ocala until afterwards last year, but he saw it on Facebook. So again, everybody post about where you're going, what's going on, and stuff like that. That's how we can help all these promoters. And promoters aren't. I mean, Rick makes a living, but Rick's not getting rich off of pulling. So I mean, my point is like we have to, if we can get to where the pullers can get bigger paybacks in front of these big crowds like this and make it work. That's what makes it fun.
Yep.
And I want to see
Because
that. I want to see that
those
happen.
paybacks bring out the best.
Oh,
and that's what
yeah.
these big crowds need to see. And there's nothing wrong with some of the other levels, but really, until your vehicle's up to that level,
Yeah.
you don't see little
There-
local Jimmy in a stock car going out
Yeah.
to Daytona 500.
No, like if you're a super farmer, do you want to jump on that class? You're stupid.
Yeah.
You're a stupid farmer. That's all I'm saying.
I
And you
mean,
go,
I'm surprised they don't want to take their $200
Yeah.
or $100, but
No, you're
But it would
you're
look-
gonna get pounded.
yeah,
That
And then it looks-
sled is gonna be waiting for bear.
yeah.
We need to talk to a sled operator like Vaughn or somebody and just see what it's like versus an Unlimited versus an Alki Super, how the sleds are set. You know what I mean? I wonder what the difference is.
Yeah.
Because what's a mod weigh 7?
Unlimiteds weigh 8,000
Okay.
pounds.
So
Same as
Unlimited
Super.
Super.
But,
But-
they are creating probably
12,000?
3 times the horsepower.
What do you think? What do you think the top V8 or what do you think the top Unlimited Super's making? 5,000 horse? They got to be 5,000 horse, don't they? On those
Per
Alkis?
engine. Oh, no,
I
like
know
Blackburn, like Blackburn.
Yeah, I know.
think
I know
they're-
the Unlimiteds like Payne and some of those guys.
Blackburn's probably over the 5,000.
I would think so. And I know, we know the Unlimiteds are 12, 13,000 horse.
Yeah,
So the sled setting obviously is a tighter nose.
they might even be pushing like 15
Yeah,
because they're like 3,000
it's insane.
an engine now. Because I believe I just seen a post that some of the minis are creating 3,000 horsepower,
Yeah.
possibly. So on 2,000 pounds.
How we doing on time? Do we need to?
Yeah, we
We
could
could wrap
probably
it
wrap
up.
this up. So
And then do we want to try to do some of our picks tonight? Or?
yeah, we can if you want,
It's
or
up
if
to
you
you.
need to.
I got work to do, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be neat. And then I did a super sled Sunday yesterday. I had a bunch of people send me pictures of sleds. That was fun. We're just trying
Some
to.
of those European sleds I get a kick out of.
Yeah, there's a hoop. And one of them's a tractor. I was
Yeah,
laughing.
yeah, with like
So-
skids on the front back, with a mod hooked up to it.
Yep. So
That would be interesting to see how that works out.
I love
And
it.
is the guy like is he in control of the hydraulics that push down onto the skid so he can
Yeah.
just do it by hand?
There's some pretty cool stuff there. So well, cool. What a great show tonight. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us. We're not sure we're gonna have on we're not sure we're gonna have on next week. Who should we have
Yeah,
on next
so
week?
it's farm
It's
show
Louis
week.
week. We should
It's
probably
farm
do
show
something.
week, so we'll have to think and
Yeah.
see what we can get on.
Gotta get somebody good. Have we ever had Bennett on? Is he announcing?
Yep, Dave is announcing. He has this year and next year is what I think left on this contract.
Okay. And then
so-
Miles is in. Leslie's in
Yep.
with Dan. Because I got
Yeah.
announced with Dan up in Ellsworth at the Fall
I
Nationals.
believe Wesley is announcing Wednesday, Thursday, and then Miles Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
Is from my
And
understanding.
then Dan and Dave are the main dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Donnie Baker. Yep. Did we ever get him? We did get him on once, didn't we?
Yeah, we got him. We had him on once.
But we never got him to Gordyville.
No,
He
we had
sick.
the ice. Or was he sick, or did we have he kind of?
I
snow
thought he
and
was
ice.
doing shows and different things like
Yeah.
that. Donnie Baker. That was funny. We had Donnie Baker. We've had a lot of crazy stuff on over the years. We got to go find all these shows.
Yeah.
I'm working on the website to list all the shows. I met with my web guy last
Hey, we
week.
got all the audio. I think.
Okay.
We should. At least the last years. I don't know. We have to find stuff from 15 and 16.
It'll be neat to see the numbers that show up for this Canfield deal. It'll be neat to see. But again, they're picking a good date. No Bowl Poll, I think, has picked a good date. I mean, do they have any competition on the PPL or the NTPA schedule?
Not that I know of. Not right
Okay,
now.
so that's smart.
Yep. Because it's the weekend after. It's kind of the weekend before a lot of the national circuits really get going. So.
Yeah. Hey, Brandon, if you're still watching, he knows. Remember, Brandon, a couple years ago, you showed me one of the series had stats of all the different polling fans and different things like that. Maybe it was Rick. There was somebody's website has. If somebody could find that for me, I have a sponsor that wants to see that. It shows all the different demographics and stuff for polling and different things like that. I want to find that again. And then here's some trivia, and I don't know the answer, but I was told at one time Bowling Green was not associated with anybody. It was like what this is. Big money. You go there, you win a ring. It was a big deal. It wasn't just NTPA. Does anybody know when that's switched over? Do you know?
Well, I do know in the 90s they were under SRO.
Now that's post TNT? Or no?
Yeah, no. So that was on
TNT
its
went to
own-
USHA,
Yeah.
USHRA.
No, SRO bought USHRA.
What's SRO stand for?
It's it's the one that Monster Jam was under the name. So it was.
What's Monster Jam called now?
It's under Feld Motorsports.
Felt.
But which is owned by Disney. So Disney actually owns
Which owns
it.
ESPN.
Yeah.
Which owns Monster Trucks.
Yeah. So
that
Disney-
Pulling made famous.
Yeah.
So Pulling made Tractor Pulling made Monster Trucks famous, and now Mickey Mouse owns Monster Trucks.
Yes.
So what did we do wrong with
Yeah,
Pulling?
same as they also own the Barnum and Bailey Circus, whatever's left of that too. So Feld Motor Entertainment owned.
What's the last
Monster
circus?
Jam.
What's the last circus you've been to?
I went to Circus
A
World.
legitimate circus,
A legitimate
not
circus.
not some pull that wasn't ran well.
I never went to the one in Madison. Remember we had those small ones come here to
The
town.
greatest show on earth.
Yeah, I never did go to a big circus because they always just fell on weekends. I was busy, so.
Burkholz they're taking the toter out to. You can take the toter, Colin. I already told him he could. Rory's graduation party is Memorial Day weekend, and then his graduation is the following weekend. So I'm gonna be out of commission for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah. So Kevin said TNT USHRA 97.
RJ says standing room only. That's what SRO stands for. Is he being serious or not?
No, I think that's actually what it.
That's good
stands
marketing.
for.
All right, Kevin Dick says, and Kevin Dick would know.
Yeah.
Bowling Green was not
Toma-
NTPA until '74.
Toma is the only supranational poll that has been with NTPA
Well,
since the
it's
start.
Schreier's hometown.
Yeah.
He isn't going to let anybody else come in there.
Since the start.
Can you
of the
imagine going
event.
into Toma? Here, I'm John and Christy. Hey, Toma, we'd like to bring the champions tour in here, right?
I mean, I guess you never know. I mean,
Oh my God, that's the funniest thing
Yeah.
ever. I love it.
I suppose if someone rented the fairgrounds, though,
Should go-
what are they going to do?
We should go and put a big brush pull on in Toma. I'd love it. Bunch of diesel trucks.
Yeah.
I would too. I'd kill it. It'd be fun. No, what a show tonight. I love that. Yes, then you have to sell my merchandise, Colin. Yep. Nobody wants that pretty 1456 hoodies anyway. They want beer money stuff. So,
But more people are going to see his merchandise, too.
yeah,
so.
think of that, Colin. More people will see your merchandise. So, I'm excited about Texas. I'm excited about Lincoln. Excited about
That's
Kansas
the
City.
weekend after Mayhem,
Mayhem,
right?
yeah. So our Motorsports Mayhem is May 9th. I'm trying to start to put classes together on that. So if you want to have your class at Motorsports Mayhem, let me know so we can get that figured out. I'm trying to figure out. So I got a hold. So Eric Pruitt got a hold of Eddie Carey for me, and he gave me a number to bring the Orange Blossom Special to Richland Center. I got excited. I was like, holy shit, we can have the Orange Blossom Special at Richland Center. And I posted on Facebook, and I had people legitimately say they didn't know what the Orange Blossom Special is. So I did the math. So I got to maybe call, if I maybe put in a super modified two-wheel drive truck class, so Eddie could bring up his competition trucks and compete, and maybe bring up the Orange Blossom Special for half the price or something like that. And I'm not trying to rip him off, but I just thought people would be like, holy crap, that's Orange Blossom Special.
But it has been a little while
Yeah.
since,
And like when Kevin brought the Legend tractors up, we had some tractors, people were like, what the hell are these things? And we had other people like, oh, I saw this tractor in Elkhorn in 74. And they
Yeah.
were like, dry humping those guys, you know what I mean? So it was exciting, the Bossy project and different things like that. When Ott brought that up here, and Kevin, I think we had 4 or 5. That was cool. That was really, really cool.
and compared to like the Kentucky area where tool drive trucks, that's where they were born.
Yeah.
That the southern part of the country, I believe, I think there's a little bit more of a following because of orange. I think that's where a lot of the name actually comes from, and so there's a lot of history down that part of the country versus I think up here for two-wheel drive truck pulling and those that still follow the sport. So
Did they say who's going to Ocala with their mini rod? Who said that?
that's
Chuck Hobbs.
Yes, Chuck is going. to
Chuck
Ocala.
used to be like our Monday night groupie.
Yeah.
What happened? You need more cocaine, Chuck? What's going on? Is that where you give groupies
He
cocaine?
said he's leaving tomorrow morning.
Okay, awesome.
He's getting a really good head start. So we're
I'll-
making a weekend out.
That's this weekend, so we need to share that as much as
Yep.
we can.
And again, fullpull.tv is so if you can't be down there. It's
Nate's
cool.
been sharing stuff on Beer Money about it,
Yeah.
hasn't he? I feel like I've seen stuff.
I think so. I don't know. I don't get a chance to obviously see everything
No.
either. But I heard that they get a really good fan support out there because obviously either it's people who live up this area and that are down there for the winter now,
Yep.
and then they get a
All the
chance to see-
snowbirds?
Yes, the snowbirds.
Go watch your favorite pulling tractor.
Well, Pat Hack is down in Florida right now. He took his camper and left. And
Pat needs a job.
Yeah,
Don't
I
you
know.
think?
He's
He's
such a
always-
slacker.
He is.
He is such
What
a
is
slacker.
going on?
So if anyone sees Pat Hack down in Florida, tell him he needs.
Yeah, there's Kevin. So the Bossy City Slicker, Terrace Land Special, Spirit 76, we're at Richland Center 2016. All those tractors pulled at the Indy Super in the 70s. And that's my point. Like, I love that history, but I don't, if they can't bring stuff up here for free, and they literally did bring stuff up here for free that year, Kevin, so thank you. We gave them some money for it, but not enough. But as a promoter, if I can't pay that bill, I don't want you to do me a favor. But like, I've talked to them, like the mini rod guys that started Region 2 for a couple of years. They just went around just to go pull one.
Sure.
Because they won that class in Region 2, and now they had 12 or 13 of them in Pennsylvania last year. So we could talk all night. We gotta be careful. We gotta kill our hour here. So, but what a good show. I love all the chatter because everybody piping in on the comments is what makes it fun for everybody to see all the different things. There's so much knowledge out there and stuff that we don't even know about. I grew up in Iowa. I did find Warren Ropp. He is going to drive the tractor this summer. He's a big Legend race car guy now. So we're going to, like in May, he said we'd figure out schedules and stuff like that. But I want to pick a big pull that he can drive the tractor at. So
Maybe you want to get him on next week.
they pulled it in Louisville for years
Yeah.
to the history.
Yeah,
I'll run
that'd be
Warren
kinda-
down.
You can kind of talk about.
If you want to see Warren Ropp on the show next week, let me know. Type in the comments.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah, do you know who Warren Ropp is? Oh, where's the picture? I got an Iron Elk picture somewhere. It's buried. I don't know. We got too many pictures up here,
Yeah.
so gonna have to. I've been sucking up to Schaefer's, because they sponsored us. So I can't get into that Sempico money. I just got to stick with. Did you see Brian comment?
Yeah.
He was down at the shop today. Still got my Sempico sticker on the front of the tractor. I said no. Because it's still from last year. I
Yeah.
said you need to figure out. But he said he's got an idea for the front of the tractor.
Sure.
So I'm excited. So. If you showed me a Legend tractor before I get it.
Murfreesboro had the Red Baron,
The
single engine turbine.
Yep. Cody Agent owns that now.
So that was kind of cool. Too bad I don't know if he actually pulls it or if it's just more for show now.
I think he bought it. Cody buys everything. He's like Bausma's. He's a pulling whore, and they go pulling everywhere, and then Cody just buys everything. But I think Cody buys stuff of auctions and barns and stuff like that. Kevin's always up to something too. Kevin must have like the classifieds for old pulling tractors laying around in the weeds. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. It's pretty cool. Cool. There's Steve. Steve, I think it's Hovind. He called me last night. We were talking. He's got those little diesel garden tractors, and we were talking about Nordheim. The group, the Texas garden tractor pullers, and I don't care if they're mad or whatever, but they didn't put on a good show last year. They couldn't get the sled moving. I don't know what was happening. So Clint and I talked, and I said, hey, let me just come in with these diesel trucks and stuff like that. And I already got some local diesel shops that have been calling me, reaching out, and we'll do some gas trucks, maybe like a farm tractor class, or maybe there's some guys want like a 14,000 pound farm, and then we got to talk to you about videoing and all that stuff. We'll do that off the air because it's unofficial yet. But but Clint wanted me to talk to you. But then Steve called me last night, and they have some really nice, what do you call it, little garden tractors. And he said that he knew some people, and they might, and that's wide enough down there, we could do alternating sleds. Clint just wants us done by 4.
Yeah.
But if they showed up with 30 hooks, you know, I mean, we could do an 8,000-pound diesel truck classic stock and then just go back and forth. So, Andy wants to see Warren Robb.
There you go. You got 1.
Woo!
You're in the column for 1. So.
Andy, he was like snowmobiling eating steak with like famous people or shrimp like last week. I follow him on Facebook too. So, it is.
You gotta do what you
I
gotta
love
do.
social media. I love it. You guys are all great. Thank you for supporting us and listening to us yak our traps. And when we get good guests on like Rick and Kurt, we don't have to say too much. That's
No.
fun. Who was the one guy that we had that we literally? Who was it?
Ken
it was
Benny. Right?
Ken Benny. Yeah, he just freaking. That was amazing. We just sat back.
Yep. Let him.
I should just have. I need a bartender.
Yep.
Another vodka.
All you
Another-
need is one question with
Another
him.
Tito's and 7.
And he could tell you. He could just talk that whole time. So
Yeah.
which is awesome.
But how do we take this passion that we core fans have and get that out to these next level? They got to have that attachment, like Warren Robb, the Iron Elk. That was my tractor. I love that tractor.
I mean, I think you gotta have more events like what they're doing out in Benson and now in
where it's
Canfield.
legit the best of the best.
It has to be the best of the best.
Yeah.
It can't be watered down.
Nope.
That's
No, it just and in like state level, and I am a state level tractor,
that
so
is
I'm not
picking
ripping on
at
it.
anybody.
No, but people get their butt hurt
I
about
know.
that. But I have a state level tractor.
Yeah.
I have a $200,000 state level tractor.
I'll
but
keep
that's
saying you try getting into Daytona with your little
No, it's the best of the best. And that's what Canfield's going to be for the Limited Supers. That's what all the no bull pull classes are going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
You
you'll get those that want to compete against the best and put up the money that they need to put up. And
Promoters, if there's any promoters watching this, please pay the Boy Scouts or somebody to stand at your gate this year, or the Girl Scouts, with a clipboard with zip codes and ask them how they heard about your event. Because I think that's so important from advertising to find out where they're coming from and then how they heard about your event. And I know it's not, there's more than just social media.
Yep.
And I say that every week. But I want to know, are they coming because of the newspaper? Did they see it on a billboard? Like, I see Toma billboards all year round.
are they coming for a specific polar?
Yeah.
Do they know that polar?
You need to know what is working. And if SRO really means standing room only, that's money. That is money. I love that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. We'll sell you the seat, but you only need the edge.
They had to sell to these big arenas back in the day. Like we're gonna bring in 30,000 people at minimum probably to make it work.
The L button stuck on James Darren Hunt's feet.
Yeah.
It just says no bull. But the no bull pull, things like that. So Hunt can spend some of his moldy money and put on a big pull down there, don't you think?
Yeah.
Sponsored by Case IH or something like that, don't you think? He probably knows a guy.
Yeah, he probably does.
Yeah. Let's see. 23 dealerships or 25. Sorry, James, I don't want to offend you. If you only have 23, 25. We can figure something out. We can stress him. I think he probably has. Do you think he can text like somebody at Case IH?
Probably. He's probably got
he's
got
like a
a
direct
red
line,
phone.
like a bat symbol.
He's got a red phone that
The red phone.
they just pick up.
Like the president bomb Iran.
Mr. Hunt. What
Mr.
can we do
Hunt,
for you?
how can we help you, Mr. Hunt? What do you need tonight, sir? So, I love it. 18. My bad, James.
Oh.
My bad. So, but it's cool. That's what makes it exciting. That's what I love is people that go to Canfield, they're going to see the best of the best that night with that unlimited superstock class, and they're going to see good super farms with some limited pros.
Yeah.
But you only need one or two awesome classes. I mean, that's like it's cool for us little limited pros, our pedal tractors, to get invited to like a Toma and different things like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I was just thinking about this today. I really think like the super national class, if it's a super national event and you have these pre-commits, you can make the show so much better if it's only the 10, 15 of the best of the best. And then you could actually slow it down a little bit, have good interviews with the drivers, make it more interactive. You don't have to push through because you've got 120 vehicles to try and get through.
I love two-wheel drive trucks. I don't want to see 69 of you at Bowling Green. No offense. You can only drink so much, right?
Yeah.
I've seen promoters. The Dalai Lama does it up there in Hillsboro. He only lets the
Champions
Tour and the
then
Badger State.
Yep.
But he's favoring the local guys like that. Again, guys, 3 to 4 hours tops for a show. That's it. That's all people want to see. They got to get home. They don't want to stay there all night like us stupid pullers. Right?
But then if you're able to make it more interactive, because you're so busy trying to push things through, you forget about the fans.
But if you can talk to fans and interview pullers and different things
you
like
don't
that.
have time because
Nope.
they're just constantly
Boom,
trying
boom, boom,
because they're
boom,
trying
boom.
to hit that 3 to 4 hour mark.
The one thing I hate about Louisville, and there's not many things I hate about Louisville, but the Pro Stocks, one of my favorite classes, they get interviewed, everybody's gone.
I know because it's
the last class, and they should, because that's why people go.
Yeah. But it's 11:30 at night.
Okay.
By the time it's done, they
Might get
bail
it.
out. So
Bail.
unless you know the person who's in the winner's circle. So
They only already sponsor the NTPA. Well, you're not selling enough stuff, Hunt. Get after it. Get after it. Sell more so they can sponsor the PPL, or maybe have a big shootout. Who was that? Well, Connie and who all got in on that one and the impromptu thing they did in the
Mac
fall.
Trailer and Boyd's.
Okay.
And I don't know if anyone. Those were the two big ones, and there might have been someone else.
How many pros did they have out there? 25.
I'm
That night?
trying to forget. I'm trying to remember.
That's the one Schneideker won. So yeah, so Ryan took this picture, and this Zimmerman got this big banner made like the size of the tractor for him. So he thought that the old meltdown tractor there. So
I'm sure Darren knows.
Yeah.
I mean, was there.
I think so.
So I think there was around 20 or so.
I feel like there were. So well, cool. We better go.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Wrap it up, and we'll be back next Monday night. So I'm gonna try to track down Warren Ropp. So maybe let's get an ex-Louisville puller and maybe a current Louisville puller, something like that. So all the chatter should be the combination of the Alkies and the Diesels at Louisville, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be Friday night's gonna be interesting to see what happens at that class because from my understanding there's only just a slight difference in the sled setting between the two classes. So
we're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. So and all of them are gonna be on kill.
Oh, you think? You think?
Well, maybe not the first night, but we'll see.
They just get to the finals.
Yeah.
Get to the finals. I hope it splits. Where the Diesels and the Alkies, I hope they split it up and take a couple to the top.
Chuck said he had to send parts to his hotel for this weekend.
It
ahead of time.
Yep.
That's why they're leaving early.
That boy, Chuck, go get your parts. Well, cool. Thanks for all that you guys do. We appreciate it. Keep promoting pulling on your social media every day. Post something about your team, about your favorite puller, different things like that. I'm going to try to sneak down too Friday. I got to be in St. Louis for work. And then Tony, who works on the Remedy, he's got the Well Spent. He was our first ever 4-1 champion down there. The year I got to pull it down there with the Remedy. And then I'm going to try to sneak down there Friday night for that, and I'll get to see the Diesels and the Alkies too. So I'll try to run you down.
Yep.
But I got to get back to work. This whole mortgage thing, it's kind of taxing. Got to pay the real
kind
bills.
of a big thing down there, right?
Till I get that big Case IH sponsorship.
Yeah.
Pay me a couple $100,000 a year. I don't think Darren probably gets a Case IH sponsorship.
No, probably not.
I think he should have first line on it, though, if there ever was one.
No, he is a Grand National Points champion now, so.
And I have a 4-1.
You were a Badger State Points champion.
2016, baby. Got the plaque somewhere in here.
You were the first ever 4-1 to go down the track at
Louisville.
So.
I had the number 1 on there. Didn't last very long.
Nope.
I think it lasted 3 tractors, but that's okay. So cool. Thank you guys. Have a great night. We enjoy having you on the show with us every Monday night.